singers called out the names of missing and murdered Indigenous people. Supporters danced in a circle while holding hands with strangers. But though the crowd of roughly 1,000 people might not all know each other, many share a similar story of a loved one gone too soon with no answers. Lindsay Chartier says it's a blessing to be around community, even if the circumstances are sad.
Yes, every year it keeps growing, and us as Indigenous people need to unite and be kind towards each other and have more love and compassion, and like it's so beautiful. Like, why wouldn't you want to be here?
Winnipeg's 4th annual MMIWG2S Walk for Justice is taking place during what some may call a pivotal moment for the MMIWG2S movement. Just days prior, the governments of Canada and Manitoba announced a partnership to create what they call a Red Dress Alert. The pilot project will notify Manitobans when an Indigenous woman, girl, or Two-Spirit person goes missing. It's good news to filmmaker and MMIW survivor Jody Lee Pacey.
Finally, I think finally, it's about time.
Pacey says there's still more to be done for those living with trauma.
There should be more supports for survivors too.
What kind of supports do you think of when you say that?
Like therapy groups, like support groups, like specifically.
Last week began the trial of an alleged serial killer who is charged in the deaths of 4 Indigenous women. Mercedes Myron is one of the few whose remains are believed to lay in a landfill just north of Winnipeg. Myron's sister, Jordan, co-organized the event.
This next month is going to be extremely hard for me and my family, as well as the other families. So to have all the support is just amazing, and I love that how many people come out time and time again to support us. It's very great.
Chartier says the event is a great place for the community to share their voices of sorrow and hope for justice.
There's a lot of people that don't get justice. They don't find their missing ones. And I hope they're able to get through it with coming to things like this.
Sav Jonesa, APTN National News, Winnipeg. I'm here with Jordan Myron, one of the co-organizers for Winnipeg's 4th MMIWG2S Walk for Justice. She is the sister of Mercedes Myron, one of the women believed to lay in the Prairie Green landfill. Thank you so much for being with me here today, Jordan. I was wondering if you could tell me why this walk is so important to families of MMIWG2S.
Well, it's important that people keep showing up and, getting together. It's going to take the whole community to help the crisis of MMIW, and we all need to continue to speak about it and use our voices. So it's very, very important that we all show up to these things.
Absolutely. And, the federal and Manitoba governments just announced a Red Dress Alert to help notify people when Indigenous people go missing. What are your thoughts on how that might help?
I think that's really big. For it to be known when someone is missing is a really big thing. So then we're all aware of what's going on. It's very big, very huge, and it warms my heart that there's steps being taken to help the crisis.
Yeah, absolutely. And the alleged murderer of your sister and 3 other women is currently facing trial. How does it feel to be around all this support today?
The support feels amazing. This next month is going to be extremely hard for me and my family, as well as the other families. So to have all the support is just amazing, and I love that how many people come out time and time again to support us. It's very great. Yes.
And do you have any suggestions for how people can support the families and survivors of MMIWG2S throughout the year?
Just continue showing up like this. Like I said, it needs to be talked about. Use your voices wherever you are. Talk about all the wrong that's happening. Talk about the crisis of MMIW. People need to start using their voices more. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for chatting with us today, Jordan. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Back to you in studio.
Red dresses marked the May 5th event. Student and artist Peggy Fair handed out miniature versions to the crowd. She is from the Degodi Dechadin First Nation in the Northwest Territories.
I made little felt dresses to represent the missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls, and so that we can all keep it close to our heart.
The Indigenous Student Center team at Mount St. Vincent University hosted the event. Denise Picto-Maloney spoke to about 30 people who attended. Maloney is an activist and says,
"We're tired of trying to fight for our basic, inherent right to survive."
Maloney is the daughter of Annie Mae Pictou Akwash. Akwash was murdered in South Dakota in 1975 by members of the American Indian movement. The high-profile case was one of many that led to the MMIWG report and calls to justice. Maloney says 5 years later, after the report, the calls to justice are still not implemented.
The formula's there, the steps are there, you just need to implement them. And the arguments over who has the responsibility to do it and who's accountable for that's a big tale of how minimalist our women have become in this country and how we are not priority, and we're high risk.
Fair also lost a loved one to violence. Her friend, Nicole Patty, was 33 years old when she was killed by a hit-and-run driver 3 years ago.
Today was important to me because I myself have lost someone to the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls National Inquiry. Her name was Nicole Patty. Lost her in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and her murder is yet to be solved, so it's close to my heart.
Maloney believes women have the power to hold the government accountable and offers some advice.
So what women can do is start getting more vocal. I mean, I understand that it's risky to speak up, but if you are in places where you can tell people and encourage people to read, you know, and to embrace those 231 and hold and write your MLAs, write your governments on what they're doing in protecting our women.
Angel Moore, APTN National News, Jabuktuk, also known as Halifax.
Red dresses line the walkways of Strathcona Park along the Rideau River in Ottawa. In spite of the wet weather, families are here to support each other.
Come and eat, come and have a bite.
Bridget Tolley has been organizing these events for decades.
Because we honor and remember our stolen sisters. One of our stolen sisters is also my mother. She was struck and killed in 2001 by the Quebec police. So we try to do our best to honor and remember our sisters, plus help the families and give them strength to continue to fight for truth, accountability, and justice.
It's the second red dress event that Ottawa City Councillor Stephanie Plant has attended this week. She says it's a reminder that there's a lot of work left to do.
We know Manitoba had their red dress alert system put in place yesterday, but it's not enough, and these kinds of issues will continue to be problems, and it will continue to be problematic as long as we don't take corrective action. Now, at the municipal level, we did the Annie Puruguk Park, not far from here, in 2021. We will have the Mary Papatsi Park, hopefully by the end of 2024. And, you know, we're always in conversation with our federal and provincial counterparts as to what we can do at that level as well.
There was plenty of food to eat, crafts, and red T-shirts to be given away. Colleen Hill Cardinal says it's a way to come together to build community and honor feast loved ones.
My late sister, Gina, was killed in 1990. My sisters and I we were 60 Scoop survivors, and my sister had a hard life as a child, and you know, a lot of what we've been through as children has led us to be vulnerable as young adults, and I think it directly led to her being murdered.
Annette Francis, APTN National News, Ottawa.